Well, hello, stamping friends. This is Tracy Rather from Plum Crazy Stamping, and it's October 10th, 2023. And tonight we're going to do the paper pumpkin workshop that unfortunately had to be delayed from yesterday. So if any of you were tuning in, I apologize. I was actually transitioning to a new phone, and I was at the US Cellular store, and things were taking us a little longer than we expected. So thank you so much for tuning in again tonight. And if you watch this on the replay, that's wonderful too. Please sign in and let me know where you're watching from. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Tonight we're going to do the September 2023 kit called With Love and Gratitude. So can't wait to show you what I have in store. So let's just flip the camera down. It will just take a moment here. There we go. All right. And I'm just going to make sure my computer catches up here so that I can see your comments. All right, there we go. Wonderful. So here is our paper pumpkin kit. This is Stampin' Up's subscription program, and you can order just one of these, or you can order it in 3 and 6 month and 1 year increments, and it comes every month, and it's a wonderful surprise. I always can't wait to get it in the mail. This month had a special box to go with this set that was actually designed by Shelley Gardner, one of the co-founders of Stampin' Up. And so let's go ahead, take a peek. Now, I've already unwrapped this, but usually you would have tissue paper in here, wrapping this all up. We have instructions, which we're going to be looking at in a moment. This kit has scent adhesive in 3 different types. We've got mini glue dots, we've got dimensionals, and we have tear and tape. I'm just going to take that out of the bag here so that we're ready to go. And then we have the Lost Lagoon ink spot, so there's always at least one ink spot in here. We've got a stamp set, and I have the majority of these stamps already on acrylic blocks ready for tonight's projects. I'll just be setting this back in the box. Here's the tissue paper. It was really pretty this month. It was a olive green color. Okay, and you can see in here there are note cards. There is going to be an actual box that we're making this time around. We've got some sentiment labels. We've got all kinds of die cuts. And then we have gold foil accents. Talk about really pretty. I like this one a lot. So let's go ahead. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to first make the 2 projects as they were designed for the kit. And then from there, I'm going to make 3 additional projects. 2 that are going to be cards, and 1 is going to be decorating the gift bag differently. So I can't wait to show that to you. But anyway, let's go ahead and look at what's included on these instruction sheets. So this kit has enough supplies to make 8 gift bags that are decorated with die cuts. And then it has 8 mini note cards, gift cards that are pretty detailed in the die cuts that are provided. On the back, whenever I get my kit, I can check that everything that is supposed to be in the kit is there. It lets me know the coordinating colors, so I've actually chosen some of those to use in my alternative projects. So Copper Clay, Crumb Cake, Lost Lagoon, Mossy Meadow, Pebbled Path, and then of course Gold Foil. There's a QR code on each instruction sheet that you can go to a video if you need to watch how to put these this kit together, in case you don't happen to watch me doing that. And they also give some suggestions for alternative projects. So that's what that's all about. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the first project. Now, first it will tell you what things to pull out for project number 1 and project number 2, and then we go into the detailed instructions. So let's just look at what's going to be in this first project. I've already got them all in the little envelope that's going to go with this note card. So I'm just going to set that off to the side here. Then I have the note card itself, which is already scored, and I'm going to take my bone folder here and just give that a good score. Okay. And then it had a sentiment label. So we're going to be doing some stamping right out of the gate here. And then we have die cuts, a small pumpkin, a larger pumpkin, some really pretty leaves, and then, as I said, the gold foil enhancement, embellishment, whatever we want to call it. And I'm just going to flip this, so we're just looking at project 1. And I'm going to get the stamps out here, set the die cuts aside, and because these are photopolymer, I'm going to use the Pierce mat to make sure I get a great stamped image. And we're first going to take this note card, and we're going to do some stamping of some foliage around the edges of this. So I've got that stamp already mounted here. I'm going to be using my own Lost Lagoon larger stamp pad here. Okay, and then I'm going to ink this up. And then the instructions are just to do this around the edge. So I'm going to do a little bit there. I'm going to ring it up again and get a little bit here on the edge. And then one more time, let's see here, along this bottom edge. All right, and which way are we going to open this? Let's see. It must be this way. All right, so I've got that done. Let me just wash off this stamp because I'm going to be using this in our other projects. So I'll put that to the side. Now let's go ahead and we'll ink up our sentiment. And let's see here. With love and gratitude is going to be our sentiment that I'm going to put on our sentiment label, which was one of the die cuts. I really am liking this Lost Lagoon color. So pretty. All right, so we've got our sentiment. And then I'm going to just set that off to the side here because we will use that again too. All right, let's shut our ink pad for now. And we can go ahead and put our little note card together here. So now the instructions will tell me next how to put adhesive, and they have small black dots, which means the adhesive dots, and then the white ones are dimensionals. So if you're following along and you happen to have this kit, just FYI, that is what I've already done here. I have followed the instructions and put the proper adhesive on these pieces, and now I'm just going to follow the instructions to actually put this in place. So this first gold embellishment is going to be on the base of the card front here. So I'm using the mini glue dots on this embellishment to have it be flat to the front of this note card. There we go. My Take Your Pick tool is a lifesaver at getting those little tops off, so I'm going to go ahead and just follow the placement where they are showing that in the picture. And remember, even when you can decide to make any of the projects any way that you see fit. But I always like to try to make at least one per the kit instructions. Sometimes I like the kit so much that I don't even make alternatives. But a lot of times I make alternatives and I get so much more out of the project pieces, which is something I'm going to show you today. So now we're going to put just the leaves on here. All right, then we're going to pop up the largest pumpkin right in the center here. All right, so let's put this kind of right in the center. And then, now this one, the adhesive is attached a little differently. Where I'm going to layer this with the pumpkin that's already popped up, I'm just using an adhesive dot. Then on the other side of the small pumpkin, I have 2 dimensionals so that it will be at the same level as the first pumpkin I put on here. Kind of a little trick when you're layering things so that it doesn't look crooked on the front of the card. All right, so this is where my adhesive is going to go. There we go. All right, and now we're going to add some of the glue dots to just the backside of the sentiment label. I didn't want to put those on and have it make the stamping look funny on the other side. All right, so we've got those. I'll just take that paper topper off here. There we go. And then I'm just going to put this right above that pumpkin and put it on the, oops, it's a little crooked. There we go. Okay. So there we have the first note card and the matching envelope, which I really love this. And you'll see that when I make the alternative cards. But anyway, there is project number 1. Let me just get all these little pieces of dimensional covering off of here. We'll go ahead to project number 2, which is our gift bag. Okay, so the thing with this gift bag, I have all the pieces here. So we've got die cuts, and we have the gold embellishment again. And this one, front side up, actually the instructions are to put the glue dots on the front because the die cut is going to be attached to the front of that. We have another sentiment label that we're going to need to stamp on. And then I'll show you, this has all of the score lines already on here. And the, oh, I already did put the tear and tape on here, so I'll show you where I did that. But let's go ahead and we'll stamp this up quick so that we're ready for just putting this all together at the same time. And this time I'm going to use just the thank you stamp. So let's just line this up straight with the sentiment label. We've got our little thank you there. I like the font in this kit. It's real fine, but it is, I really like the cursive. Okay, now we can move this out of our way, and we're going to go ahead and put the gift bag together. So let's see, I'm sorry, I haven't checked in to see who's here. Hi, Kathy. Nice to see you, Betty. Now, I know it's only showing me so many comments, you guys, so I know there are more people here and more comments, so I'm sorry I've missed seeing those. But let's go ahead with our gift bag. Okay, so the instructions here were to, let's see, which way did it do it first? Okay, we had, oh, it's this one. So here you can see this is the bottom of the gift bag, and I just pushed it up like this. You can see the white is on the inside, and I put a piece of tear and tape here, and then a piece of tear and tape on this flap. And then we turned over to the other side, and the tear and tape is on that other flap. So that's really seen on here. Now, the one thing that this says to do, which I did not do, is put dimensionals up here because I'm not ready to close it yet. And then we go to the side where it says stamp our sentiment, which I've already done. And then we have the different die cuts to embellish this. Plus I need to put some dimensionals on the back of this sentiment that we stamped. So let me just get that ready to go. These are the mini dimensionals they're providing with this kit. All right, so then, now this has score lines on the side, and your the front flap folds right over that. Okay, so can open up, and then it holds it closed in a kind of a different configuration, which is cool. All right, and then to do the bottom, all right, we need to, let me think about how I did this one. We fold in the bottom, and then we fold in these side flaps. And then the last part that has the side flaps. Let's open this up. Okay, so first the one that doesn't have any adhesive, I'm going to put in the side flaps first. And just, I'll tell you, take your pick tool, helps get the top of the tear and tape off too. So I've got that off. Take off this other side. And I'm going to fold those flaps in and then push down the one side of this, keeping this square. Then, now the directions don't say this, but this is what Tracy says, is I put in my little bone folder to just press that down. Okay. And then I'm going to peel off the top of this side of the tear and tape on the other bottom flap, and fold that forward, and then put that on the table and go in there with my bone folder again, just to make sure it's all adhered together. Okay, and there we go. Isn't that cute? Cute, cute. And I'll tell you, this neutral color you could use for whatever you wanted. But let's go ahead. This is actually showing us to put this down this way. And on this side, I've only got a couple of the mini glue dots to attach this to the top of the flap, not onto the whole base of the bag. So let's take those 3 off first. Okay. And I'm going to attach that right onto the flap. Okay, and now I have these other, I'm going to have to open this up like this to put the other, take off the covering of the mini glue dots that I put on here to attach the die cut. That does not want to come out of there. There we go. And there's another one under here. Come on. It's kind of stuck underneath. There we go. I can get it. Okay, and then I'm just going to attach the die cut as it shows here in the instructions on top of the gold embellishment. Okay. And then we're going to turn this upside down, if you will, right now for a minute while I put the thank you on here. Okay, and I just have dimensionals on here. So kind of put this over the stem at the top of this. And there. So then if you wanted to put the dimensionals on the inside of this flap when you're ready to put whatever you want in this little gift bag and then, you know, give it to someone. But isn't this cute for a nice fall gift? Note card, gift card, if you will, and the little bag. So those are the two projects for this kit. I'm going to take the instructions out of our way now. And I think I'll just set these off to the side as well so I can have more workspace for doing the alternatives. So let's just move that and get our little scraps out of the way here and go to the first alternative card. So I'm going to show you kind of some parts and pieces. Now I have the highlights for how to make these alternatives. It's going to be in the weekly email next week. So let me tell you how you can get on that mailing list. The other thing that's going on right now I want to show you is I am in the beginning of doing 12 weeks of Christmas, and this is an exclusive 12-week, one Christmas project or holiday project per week for anybody that is on the Plum Crazy Stamping email list. You can get on that list by going to www.plumcrazystamping.com. So once you're on that list, every week following my Facebook Live, or in this case, the Paper Pumpkin Workshop, I'll have the highlights and the paper cutting measurements and the basic instructions of how to do this in that newsletter, and you can print a PDF tutorial off. So just a reminder, you have only at this point missed one project, but you would be able to get in projects 2 through 11 if you sign up before tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock is when I deliver these projects. So FYI. The other thing that I wanted to just let you know, if you're not aware, is Stampin' Up! Is having free shipping. It was yesterday, today, and tomorrow through midnight. And any $75 order or more of product actually qualifies for free shipping, which is an 11% savings. The other thing that I am doing this month is if you order $50, so if you get the free shipping, you're also going to get this tutorial. It's a 4-card tutorial using the Countryside In Suite. Now, you would not have to have this paper and this stamp set to use these tutorials. These are ideas that could be used with any paper or any stamp set that you have. It's just a card design that you'd be able to follow. And in this tutorial are colored pictures about how to take step-by-step action to make these cards, the paper cutting instructions, as well as any supply lists if you did want to make exactly this 4-card set. So anyway, that would be free, and I would be emailing that to you if you made an order with Plum Crazy Stamping. So with those reminders, if you have questions, don't hesitate to email me at Tracy, Traci, at plumcrazystamping.com. And let's see. All right, I can't see any new folks that have signed in. So let's go ahead and get started with this new alternative card. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to cut up one of these little envelopes. So from this envelope and the note card, I'm going to make 2 cards using just a few other couple pieces of cardstock and some other scraps I have. And I'm going to make a new design for the front of that gift bag. So let me get out my card trimmer here and go ahead and open this up. So I'm very carefully going to open this envelope because I'm going to use this like designer series paper. Okay, so I've got this open and I'm going to cut very carefully with my trimmer along the score lines of the envelope. So I'm going to just cut that little flap off. You know what? When you get frayed cardstock like this, one thing is the envelope paper is not as thick as cardstock, but it's probably time for me to change trimmer blades. Okay, and then let's go ahead and trim off this next one. I'm just lining the score line right up in the track and cutting. Okay, and then I'm going to cut along the bottom here. All right. And then let's see, I am going to use the main part of this piece, and it's going to basically be 3.5 by 3.5 inches. Let me just, I got all these fuzzies in this track. I'm just going to get rid of them. There we go. All right, so 3.5 by 3.5. So let's check how we're doing in our 3.5. Yeah, I'm going to be able to cut a little bit more of this off. And let's see what 3.5 looks like from here. Oops, sorry, this way. 3.5. So let me trim this first to get the 3.5. Because I want this to be a square on the front of my card. So we've got that side. Now let's go ahead and just trim this to be 3.5. All right. So I've got that front piece that I want for my card. I'm going to set this scrap aside for the next card. And I need a little piece of white here. We're going to do some stamping in a minute. So this is, let's see, 1.25 by 3.5, I believe. 1.25 by 3.5, yes. Okay, and then I have a piece of copper clay that is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And then when I cut this, I already cut this down, but I want this little scrap. I think I took it from what was on the end here. This is going to be 1/2 inch by 3.5 inches for my card front. So let me set that aside. And then I have Early Espresso. Now this is just a half piece of Early Espresso cardstock cut at 8.5 by 5.5, and then I've scored this at 4 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and use my bone folder if I can find where I set it. Here it is. Just going to go ahead and make a nice crease there so we have our card base. All right. And then I need a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of basic white, and this is going to be the card insert, which I also want to stamp on. So, and then we're going to make a pumpkin for the front of here. We're going to be stamping that. So let me get all these pieces we're going to need to stamp now that we've got all the pieces of our card cut. Okay, let me get the trimmer out of the way here for a moment. And let's go ahead and do our stamping. So let's see. First, I'm going to do the foliage that I want to do on the card insert and on the front here in Lost Lagoon. So let me just grab that and find my foliage stamp here. Okay. So I'm going to ink that up. And that's on this little piece here. And I'm going to just center this as best as I can. And I'm leaving a little room because I'm going to put the sentiment for the front of this card on this little piece of white. So I'm just doing the foliage, though, for some accent. I'm also going to do this on the inside of the card. Now, this is going to be a landscape card. So let me just get this stamped on the inside of the card. All right. And then I want to use the Early Espresso to do my sentiments on both of these pieces. So let me just grab that stamp pad, and I want the little For You, which is a part of this stamp set. That was in the paper pumpkin kit. So that's for on the front. And then inside, I'm going to put the thank you. All right, and I'm going to nuzzle that in to our foliage a little bit, making it just look a little different than you might stamp most of your cards. I really liked that look, putting it off center. All right, so now I've got the stamping done. Now we're just going to put our card together. Oops, I forgot the pumpkin. I have to do the pumpkin here. And I will have to use my Lost Lagoon, and we're going to do copper clay. Let's go ahead and do the little top of the pumpkin here. Oh, I'm going to actually do that right inside this image. Ooh, lots of ink there all over my thumb. All right, let's do the, here's our pumpkin image. Once again, this is copper clay. And this is really important that you do this on your pierce mat because it's a solid image. And if you didn't do that on this mat, boy, that's pretty dark, isn't it? Let's see how it looks on the other side after stamping it off once and see if we like that color a little bit better. Anyway, you would not get a good image. You would miss part of the image if you didn't have the pierce mat. Yeah, I like that lighter. So we're going to go with that lighter pumpkin. That other one was just too dark. My copper clay is a brand new ink pad, and I really pressed down hard on there, so a little bit too dark. Okay, and then now I'm going to put the little stem in here. There we go. Okay. And so now this paper pumpkin doesn't have any dies, so I'm actually going to just fussy cut this pumpkin out. And you'll see when I put the card together why I'm doing that. So remember, fussy cutting is when you just cut your image out and you move the paper, not your scissors, and you always leave a little white outline. Around the edges. Otherwise, you can end up cutting off part of your image. So by leaving a little white outline, then you don't cut into the image. All right. There we go. All right, now we're ready to put the card together. Sorry, forgot about that part. So let's take our card and go ahead and put together the front. So first is going to be this copper clay card front. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that right onto the front of the card. I use my multi-purpose glue because as I'm doing this, I want to be able to slide these pieces in place because this is a very thin border. When I put the other pieces together, you're going to see that. So line that up so that we have equal borders. Okay, and then I'm going to put this 3x3, still a little piece of lint from that. Okay, I'm just going to put the glue on the back of what was our envelope. I'm going to use it like designer series paper. And it has a very thin border. And I'm not pressing all the way because I want to make sure I've left enough room. Yeah, that's fine. So I can press that down because I want some border around this piece of white cardstock that I put my images on. Okay. And then I just used this piece of the cardstock to add some interest and for something to adhere that pumpkin image to, so it wasn't just like floating in the middle of the card and not really connected to anything. This kind of just grounds that embellishment. So I've got that on there. And then I'm going to actually pop this pumpkin up with dimensionals. Add some more interest by doing that. Okay. Oops, took one of them off. All right, so we've got our pumpkin on there. And then just glue this on the inside. I'll tell you, I hadn't used Early Espresso for a while as a cardstock color, and I love this dark brown, the way that it goes with Lost Lagoon. And the copper clay. Who would have known? So I was glad they listed it as a color because I really think that's very striking. And there is our first alternative card. Now let me get the pieces for the second one here and just check in again and see if you are having any questions. So please use the comments if you have any questions or comments. Oh, I'm glad that you like it, Kathy. Yeah, fussy cutting can be hard, but you know what? It's art. So don't worry about it if you are thinking that it gets a little not perfect, because, you know, sometimes it's not perfect. All right, let's go ahead and do the next card. So let me get the pieces here. So now this time, I'm still going to use some of these scraps that I have. I have the note card. Now we're going to cut that apart and have that. I'm just going to put this off to the side for right now. We've got let me look at the measurements here. So we have this as a square is 3.5 by 3.5. A half of it is going to be for this project. So let me just cut this in half because the other half I'm going to use on the decoration for that gift bag. So let's just take this at 3.5. And that's right down that score line. Okay, I'm going to just put that off to the side for when we are working on that bag. But we have this for the front of this card. And then I have the pieces yet from this. Now, this isn't going to be quite 3.5 the whole way. So you can see here I have 3.5. Actually, I want to cut this little part off of this. So I'm just going to go like this. Okay. And then I'm going to cut this at 3.5, which is just this edge off here. Okay. But I'm going to still use this as if it's 3.5 inches, but I'm going to just place my embellishments or die cuts in a way that you won't be able to tell that it's not. And so let's see how square I can get this by cutting off the top of this rounded part. All right, so now it kind of looks square except for right here. All right. And I got to tell you, I ended up doing this kind of playing around, and then I figured out the measurements. So then this is, let me see, I have this. I'm just going to kind of cut this as estimated what would be in half. And then I'm going to use this on the front of my card. Like I said, I'll show you how I do that. And then I have some of the die cuts that were available in this kit to help embellish the card. So I've got leaves, pumpkin, and one of the gold foil. Here we go with the same, this is the other half of that early espresso. 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So that's the other card front. Now this one I'm going to make a portrait card. This is the card insert that is actually at 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And I'm going to we're going to do our stamping here first. So we're going to stamp on this, we're going to stamp on this, and I'm going to save these parts and pieces for when we put things together. Let's go ahead and do the inside of the card first. And I'm going to, let me just see here. I am going to use Lost Lagoon again. And we're going to get our foliage. And I'm going to stamp around the sides of the inside. After I stamp off, I'm going to do around the edges. Oop, I didn't push down very good there, did I? Okay. Kind of get in a hurry, I get. All right. Now, if you like the darker color, you could actually be doing this full strength. I just decided to do it lighter, make it softer on the inside. Okay. Now you can take any stamp, any flower on the inside of your projects and do this and really add a whole different look to the insides of your cards. Okay, and then I want a little bit, let's see, a little bit of this above this section. And since I missed that right there, I'm going to catch it. All right. I kind of think I missed a little bit there too. All right. So there's the inside of our card. And set that off to the side here. Now I do want to put a sentiment inside here, and I'm going to use the With Love and Gratitude, and I am going to do that in the darker color. I'm going to just set my Lost Lagoon aside though, because I'm going to use that on the front. So, and we're going to use our, let's see, we're going to have our early espresso. Yep, I'm done with copper clay there. So let's do the brown again on here with our sentiment. And it's because it's the color of the base and I want it to pop because this font is so small. So I'm going to put it right up here at the top so that you have a really nice area to write inside this card. All right, so we've got that part's done. Now I did take another stamp set and I'm using the Biggest Wish because I want to say thanks, friend. Oops, friend. I'm going to use the cursive down here and the block printing up here. So once again, this is Biggest Wish. And let me get I'm going to actually do it right here on the note card. And let's find our thanks first. And I'm going to do that in early espresso. And trying to just a little bit off center, not quite. Okay. We've got our thanks. And let's do Friend in Lost Lagoon. Okay. And I'm going to get this as close to that thanks as I can. And since I'm doing tone on tone, I am letting it sit there a minute so that that ink really soaks in nice and we can see the friend. All right, so we are ready to put together the pieces of this card. So get all this out of the way and let's go ahead with this. And we'll make our card front. And now this is where I'm going to do parts and pieces and make these short pieces look like they're long. So I'm going to go right underneath and put that one there. And then down here, go a little bit over the top. And you can see where those don't match up. But when I use the pumpkin on the bottom and I put the leaves up here, you're not even going to know that the whole thing isn't covered. So, you know what? It's as long as you think those things through, it's going to go fine. So let me just set this off to the... I'm going to leave these lined up so I kind of know how I want to line up my things to glue it on. And once again, using this glue helps me to just slide this in place. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and glue the little pieces of the envelope in place. Now, it'd be easy to throw this away, but why, right? This looks great. That side's a little frayed, so I'm going to take it this way and decide how much, that I want the border to match. So I'm doing a little overlapping there. Now I'll be doing the same on this side. Okay. All right, the pumpkin I'm going to just glue down flat. And I'm also going to, now with this gold foil, it's just easier to put a couple of glue dots on here to glue that down so the glue doesn't come out through the foil and make it look, actually these glue dots are pretty big. Well, I'll just be careful where I put them. If you get the glue on the front of the foil, it can make the foil look kind of, I don't know, schmeary. If that word captures it. So I like to use the glue dots for this part. Oops, there goes the trimmer. So no glue mess. And I guess, you know, calling these mini glue dots, there's something that's a little thicker that we can buy mini glue dots in the catalog. These are the adhesive dots, you know, that are supplied in the Paper Pumpkin kit. Or they also have these in regular kits. All right, there we go. So let me put this, I want this coming down there. And now this is the only thing I am going to pop up so we get a little dimension on the front of this card. So add these dimensionals, pop them off of here. Okay. And now let's see, I want these to go. And my thanks probably could have been down a little bit further, but oh well. Let's see, how am I going to have to do this? Because I'm covering up where this doesn't go, right? Oh, I don't like it there. Well, this one is going to go on top a little bit like that because I should have moved the thanks over just a little bit. All right, so that's the front of that one. And now let's put in the inside. But I think you get the gist of what I was trying to do on the front of that card. Make the envelope pieces as long as they needed to be, and they weren't quite there. But I could still do it this way. Oops, let's not do it upside down. All right. And there we go with our card insert. So just hopefully another idea of what you can do with card inserts. And we have the portrait style card. So we've got this and this. Now let's decorate the gift bag another way from what the kit had. So let me just get this over here. And this is going to be quick. So we just need our Lost Lagoon note card. And we're actually going to just do some stamping to make a background on here. And then I have one die cut I'm going to use. We've got the gift bag as provided in the kit, and we have the sentiment label. So we're going to go ahead and do With Love and Gratitude again with the Lost Lagoon. Kind of move this out of the way here. And I need that stamp again, With Love and Gratitude. Okay. And I'm just going to stamp that on my sentiment label, which is one of the die cuts. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my foliage stamp again. And I want to stamp this so that there's a lot more interest on the back. I'm sorry, on the front of this gift bag. And what I'm going to do is do it 3 times. So I'm going to do it as high as I can up to the corner of this, remember, 3.5 by 3.5 inch note card. So this is the back of that note card. And then I'm going to go to the side of this, kind of making 3 branches, a 3-pronged branch, if you will. There's a little bit of overlap here in the middle, but that's going to be covered up by the die cut, so it's not going to matter. And we'll go there. We'll press that down. Okay, let me just get this out of my way. And we've got all our stamping done. We've got this. We've got this. Let's go ahead and make our card front here. So now I did put all of the dimensionals behind this already. All right, I've got that. Now I'm going to just put this in the center, going from the other corner. And now you can see that we have all of that design behind it, which I think really adds. Just get all these little pieces off of here. Okay, now let's go ahead and put our gift bag together here. Now remember, we have to have one of these angles have the tear and tape, so I'm just going to get a piece of the tear and tape. Go on this flap. And then I have to put this down on this flap. And then I'm going to turn this over and do it on the bottom of this flap. Okay. And that's all the adhesive we'll need for this part. And I'm going to, let's see here. I'm going to make this, if I were to square this out, because I just need to press along these score lines. So you can use your bone folder again to make nice crisp lines. Well, I guess I'm just going to push those lightly because they're going to go the opposite direction. But let's get this other side is already crisp. And our flap is going to come forward. Okay. But let's go ahead then. Since this is the front, while this is still flat, I'm going to glue this down. So this is going to take up the whole front. And then I'm going to kind of put that half on, half off, okay? So let's go ahead and just use our multi-purpose glue again so I can slide this. Ooh, almost to the end of the bottle. Okay. So just lining that up on the front of this. Then I'll show you, the difference this design makes. Because even if you didn't use the note card, you might want to just get some cardstock on the front of this if you like this look. All right, now let's go ahead and put the box together. So remember, I just need to fold in these tabs. And I got to fold in this tab because it's going to go on top of those. Oops. There we go. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and take the bone folder here and just get this tear and tape started. There we go. Do that on the other side here. All right. Fold those in and use the bottom flap that does not have any of the tear and tape on. And then just put this over and use my bone folder. Press that down and now take the tear and tape off this other flap. You could always make this gift box by just copying this pattern before you put them all together. This is a really nice box. I like the size, or bag, gift bag. I like the size of it. Okay, so we've got that. Okay. And then remember, this goes together on this score line. And you have the flap. It goes down like that. So that's the end of that bag. So this bag as designed looks like this. And here's another alternative to add some additional color to the bag. So let's see, you know what I'm going to do to have you be able to see this a little better? Let me get one of my real mini glue dots here. And I'm just going to roll this up in my finger. And I'm going to put it right on the bottom of this so I can hold this one closed. Okay. And then you can look at the alternative. Let me get all this stuff out of the way here. And you can see the initial project, right? And the note card that goes with it. And then you can see the alternative and the alternative cards. Now, all of this was made, like I said, one sheet of the early espresso, you know, one sheet of white, not even a half a sheet of white cardstock, and then using some of the embellishments. And I ended up being able to make 2 cards out of 1. So let me see if there's any other questions that you have. Oh, Kathy, you're welcome. Hi, Lori. Nice to see you. Hi, Ethel. Anyway, let me go ahead and I'm going to pop the screen up here. And just wanted to say thanks a lot for joining me tonight at the Paper Pumpkin Workshop for the September 2023 kit with love and gratitude. I'll remind you, today is the last day to get the holidays Paper Pumpkin kit. That is the October kit. The November one will become available tomorrow. So if you're interested in doing a kit that has houses decorated for Christmas, you might want to take a peek, and you can do that from my website as well. So once again, I'm Tracy Rather from Plum Crazy Stamping, and if you're interested or want to learn any more, just go to www.plumcrazystamping.com. Thanks a lot and happy stamping. See you tomorrow on Facebook Live.